Hey everybody, so if you look below, you can skip to the part of the video that you really want. Let's say you want to just skip right to the treatment part, look below. So let's begin. So, ankylosing spondylitis, what is it? So what's going to happen is the doctors are going to test you for HLA-B27. This is human leukocyte antigen B27. It's an antigen that attacks collagen fibers in your body, specific collagen fibers. And because they're so specific, a lot of times you start out with lower back pain. And that, as the disease progresses, what's going to happen is you're going to feel more and more pain up the back, maybe in the ribs, and you'll feel occasional strange pains in the knees or the elbows, the shoulders, and you'll get random occurrences of flare-ups in your eye, which is characterized by something called uveitis. And that's how I actually got diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, because it really doesn't occur in any other situation. And that's how a lot of people I've read about that got diagnosed as well. So ankylosing spondylitis is unfortunate. It's been called a miserable disease. It's a terrible condition, and it goes undiagnosed for a long period of time in most cases. But it can be beat. And in this video, I'm going to make it clear how you can beat it, even if NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, are not working for you. So let's start with the medical community. So the medical community really only looks at the HLA-B27 side of the disease, and they say, well, there's inflammation, let's throw some anti-inflammatories at it, see what happens. And they found that there's really good results with halting the progression of the disease. However, the side effects of the NSAIDs are not so good. You risk the development of peptic ulcers, gastric ulcers. I mean, it causes terrible acid reflux in me, and I was only taking it for probably like 2 years. And people have to take it their entire life. You're just bombarding your system with these drugs. And so the doctor says, okay, to prevent the progression of ulcers and negative effects on your gastrointestinal health, take a proton pump inhibitor. So they're treating the side effect of the drug that's used to treat the symptom of the disease that you have. It just doesn't make any sense. But it's so useful in treating the disease that the medical community really doesn't see any reason to do otherwise. But a great man by the name of Professor Alan Ebringer did a study. You can find it on the National Institute of Health, PubMed, and he did a study where he wanted to really find the root cause of ankylosing spondylitis. He knew it had to do with HLA-B27, but he knew there was something else to it. And so he tested the fecal samples of patients suffering with spondylitis, and he found there was a higher concentration of IgA, which is an antibody that your body uses to fight bacterial infections. And it was significantly different than the average population. It was significantly higher. So he figured, okay, it's bacterial. So he did some tests, and you can look at what he did online, but he came to the conclusion that it was probably caused by a bacteria called Klebsiella, specifically Klebsiella pneumoniae. And it's just this parasitic bacteria that resides in your gut. Okay, so a little more background on that. Every single person has a ton, like billions and billions of bacteria in their intestinal tract and stomach and throat and mouth. And the bacteria can be beneficial or they could be terrible. the more beneficial bacteria you have, the less space there is for bad bacteria to come and take that spot. So Klebsiella pneumoniae has taken a spot in your digestive tract. And as the disease progresses, you can see higher and higher amounts of this bacteria. So Ebringer said, let's try to get rid of that bacteria. One of the things he did was put the patients on low doses of antibiotics for a long period of time. And he actually found that they had less pain. They admitted they had to take lower doses of NSAIDs. Another thing that he discovered, and this is the vital point, was that Klebsiella pneumoniae exists and is only able to exist healthily in a media of high carbohydrate content. So what does that mean? It basically means every time you're eating starch and sugar, you're allowing Klebsiella to survive. So what's the next logical step? Cut out starch, cut out sugar, okay? Specifically, Klebsiella survives on starch, and that allows it to reproduce because sugar and certain types of starch are digested earlier up in the digestive tract, but other types of starch take much longer to digest, and that residual amount of starch is what Ebringer hypothesized. This hasn't been proven, but there's a lot of evidence supporting it. And that residual resistant starch is what the bacteria feeds off of. So, how do you treat this? How can you use this information to your advantage? 3 words. No starch diet. Okay? Welcome to hell. Almost everything you eat contains starch. Wheat, corn, potatoes, any grain you can think of, rice, beans, pistachios. It all contains starch. So sticking to it is extremely difficult, but it usually works very well. So I will provide a link in the description to show you some sites that help you stick to the no starch diet. So let's look at that a little closer. There's multiple treatment options for ankylosing spondylitis. This one is the no starch diet. And within that, there's multiple different stages, okay? And depending on if your pain is still present after switching to a diet, then you move on to the next stage. So the first stage is low starch. Just trying to minimize your starch intake, but don't pay too much attention to that. Now, if you still have pain, what you're going to want to move on to is no starch. This is a severe diet. But there is some saving grace. For some people in that no starch stage, you can actually have glutinous rice. The reason is because amylopectin is okay to eat, and amylose, those are the 2 types of starch. Amylose is not okay to eat. Amylopectin, Klebsiella can't survive off of it. So, no starch. Glutinous rice only, okay? And if you're finding that glutinous rice is giving you some issues, then you can get off of it as well. And the last stage, if you're still having pain, then the last stage is no starch, no dairy, and no sugar. Okay, so you're going to want to play around with that diet a little bit, but essentially what the big factors are, in order of importance, is amylose, which is a form of starch, okay? Dairy, sugar, amylopectin. Okay, so those are the 4 big players in contributing to overgrowth of Klebsiella bacteria in your gut. Okay, so let's move on to the next treatment option. So this next treatment has been called a miracle cure. It's been called amazing. It's been called life-changing. You know, I've gotten my life back, all these crazy things, and I can't even begin to fathom how it works. But basically, it is apple cider vinegar. This will get rid of your pain in most cases. It doesn't work for everyone, but here it is. This is, I mean, might as well try, right? Okay, so start with twice a day, have 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar diluted in a cup of water. Okay, so you're going to have a total of 2 tablespoons, and after 5 days, you ramp that up to 3 times a day, and then ramp that up to 4 times a day after another 5 days. Okay, so after about 15 days, you're going to be consistently having 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar every day. Now, it's a little sour, but you actually find yourself looking forward to it. Now, let me explain some stipulations behind this treatment. A, you are not going to see immediate results. It's going to take about 5 days to see any results at all, and about a month to see the completion of the full results. Okay, so, and once you're on that, after a month, I mean, you cannot stop. It's a continuous buildup. It's cumulative. So, the first 5 days, when you're doing just the 2 tablespoons per day, completely cut out all sugar. You can be on NSAIDs, you can be eating starch, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be doing the diet, which I just talked about, but you cannot eat sugar. You especially can't have cakes, soda, even diet soda, cookies, cereals. Can't have any of that stuff. And as time goes on, you can cheat a little bit, but try to minimize your sugar intake, because if you have a bunch of sugar, like for example, if you eat a bunch of cake and ice cream, it's going to completely eliminate all of those cumulative effects of the apple cider vinegar, and you're going to have to start back from square one, from day one. So that's the issue with this, is that you can't cheat, or else you lose all your progress. So I recommend trying this. It's a fantastic treatment option, and I'm currently on NSAIDs and ramping back up the apple cider vinegar treatment because I messed up and ate a bunch of sugar. So I lost all my progress. But the progress was awesome. I couldn't believe it. I was in complete awe, because even the no-starch diet, I mean, it's so hard not to cheat, that I would have pain pretty much every day, because I just would be like, I need some sugar, I need some carbohydrates, or I'm not going to be able to survive another 5 minutes. But this, you can eat like a king. Every piece of bread is like a godsend. So I recommend trying that out. Now, there are some other things you can supplement this with, and I have only tried it with the supplements. I've never had just the apple cider vinegar. So the main supplements you want to add to your diet are as follows: cod liver oil, or some kind of fish oil. Krill oil and cod liver oil are generally accepted to be better, but make sure you get a pill of fish oil every day. Selenium, it's just good for your joints. 1 or 2 drops of oregano oil. That kills the Klebsiella, or Klebsiella is sensitive to it. It helps. Vitamin B. Try to get a good intake of that. You want vitamin B12 and vitamin B, the B stress complex. Probiotics. That's a big one. You want to increase your consumption of kimchi of kombucha tea. If you can eat dairy, you want to increase your consumption of yogurt. Anything with those probiotic cultures in them. Also, actual probiotic pills work great for just a quick boom, but you don't want to go on those for too long because they're just so expensive, you know. But yeah, they're certainly extremely helpful. And I'm trying to remember. Some people suggest people bark. That's extremely obscure. I have some in the kitchen, but I can't attest to whether it works, and you pretty much can't find it online. It's extremely difficult to come by, so I can't personally recommend that. And yeah, those are the main supplements you want to take a look at. There's other fenugreek, also known as Methi in Indian culture, and antibiotics if you really are in a lot of pain and you just want to get rid of those Klebsiella cultures, the Klebsiella populations in your intestines. But don't be on them too long because they'll also kill off your probiotic cultures in your intestines as well. And aside from that, there you go. I mean, that's really all you need to know. So yeah, these treatment options are really used for 3 reasons. If NSAIDs aren't working for you anymore, if NSAIDs are causing terrible side effects and you can't take them anymore, or you just hate putting pills in your body. So take a look at them. There's a little more background behind it. I'm going to make a video explaining in detail the background, the association between Klebsiella and HLA-B27 and how they come together to create the disease that you have. And I'll make a video also explaining some treatment options that I haven't personally used, like copper, niacin, some other weird ones. And but as far as this goes, this is where I'm at, and I wish you the best of luck. The final note I would say is you can destroy this disease. It's super easy. You're going to get super down at times too, because it's very difficult to deal with the fact that you feel debilitated. But trust me, you can beat it and you can live. So yeah, good luck.